Young, and today I'll be showing you how to use Agtek so that way you can take a PDF file and through Agtek vectorize it and elevate the data lines to create a 3D model. I'll be showing you using this PDF. First thing you want to do is when you upload your PDF file is you want to go to data transfer and click vectorize. And then I'll show you some highlighted lines. And now what you'll do is you'll want to send it. We're going to vectorize the existing data lines. So these points all throughout here. We're going to go to existing, data lines, and you can pick your layer if you know it, but we're just going to come through here and click these existing data lines that we see. Once we've clicked them, we can double check to make sure that we've clicked all of them. If not, you press Shift and you hold Shift while you click them so that way it groups them all together. It looks like we've got them all. So then we'll press Send To, and you see how those lines disappear. That means it's vectorized and it's elevated. So that way we can go into edit mode and it shows our lines. Those yellow lines means that we are able to go in and click on them to add our data points. So now we will go in and select and edit our data points. Now, to get a starting point, you have to go in and you have to find one of the lines that has a solid point for you to view. So that way you can get started. And so see right here, this one's going to be 128.87, or actually, I'm sorry. This one is going to show 130. So we know this point is going to be 130. And once we've selected the line, it carries all the way through. Once you've clicked it, you just type in 130, just like it shows. Press select, enter, and boom, once it turns green, you know you've vectorized it. And you go through and you vectorize all the lines. This might take just 1 second. But while you're going through here, the existing data lines are normally the easier ones to vectorize because a lot of times when you're doing the design lines, you will go through and select your data lines, but they will not always be connected. Normally, your data lines are connected. I messed up on that one. Normally in the existing ones, your data lines are always connected, so you don't have to worry about going through and individually selecting and all that. I apologize. If I could, I'd have a separate tab open with one that's already mostly vectorized. So that way I could take you right to it. But Agtek doesn't work that way. You have to go one. You can only have one thing open at a time. It'll only allow you one window. You can't have multiple windows, which isn't the worst thing, but you would definitely like to be able to kind of switch, especially at this point right now. We are almost done here. Yeah, so we only have a few data lines left. Now, on the right side of your screen, there's a lot of data lines in a very small portion because it is at such a steep climb. So there's going to be a nice little hill and slope and elevation right there for us to view once we get this elevated. And over here, since the lines are a lot more spaced out, that means that it's going to be a lot flatter and also not have much of an incline. See how there's this big space right here? keep losing my 6, 5, 94. Okay, and then 91. So then once we have all of our data lines entered in with an elevation point, you can come through to perimeters. You press F8, or I'm sorry, you go to edit, make sure you're in perimeters or else this won't work. And you press F8 to start your points, and then F6 to log your points. And you travel along the perimeter of the elevations you want to capture in your data for your cut and your fill ratio. Normally, it's going to be your existing because, I mean, I would say 80% of the time it's going to be your existing data lines you're going to outline, because if you're adjusting existing, normally your data is your new, the new build and the new model is all going to fit within the existing because it's what you're all adjusting. Now, once we've gotten our perimeter set up all the way around, we can come through. And once we get back to this original point, we press F8, double click, right click twice, and then right click, go back to edit, and you'll see this here, our data line, or our perimeter, excuse me. And you can name it if you want. You can do this for riprap, for different types of subgrade, concrete, whatever you want to do. You can label it. Right now, region 1 works for us because this is our only region. And oh, we missed a few data points here, but that's not going to affect us at all or anything. So then once you've come here, you go to plan view. Plan view, once you have your design lines in, it'll show you the difference in the cut and the fill in each point. So if one spot is sitting at, we'll call it 130, and the design is going to have it at 120, it would show a cut. So right here, since we don't have any design lines in, it tells us that it's all on grade. So it's right where it needs to be. But if we had our design lines in, it would show you a bunch of data points saying that you are plus 3 feet or minus 2 feet. So then once you see the plan view, this is where you really check to see if you've messed up any of your data points. It shows you this little car, your little rover, and you use your keyboard to drive around and see, oh, did I miss anything? So you see how on this side, it all looks pretty flat. It all looks pretty good. On the right, it's saying on grade, and it's giving you your northing and your eastings. But, you know, we're not seeing any big spikes, any big dips until we turn around and we see this little canyon over here. Well, what's this? Why do we have this big of a dip off? So you can tell that something's not right here. And it's a little hard to see, but when you're in this 3D view, it'll show you on the total plans where your car is. So right here, if you can see it, it says our car is sitting right here. So, all right, something's wrong. We have a good idea where we're at. We can go back to edit and see, all right, we were here. We want to make sure you're out of perimeters because you can't edit or view. So we're saying, all right, here, 114, 115, 114, 113, 12. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. See how on the right side, we go from 110 to 11. We missed a 1 there. So then you just come through. All right, we need 111. Again, you just click on it. You start typing your number, press enter. And now when you're doing this, it might show you just on one point because all this data line contains a bunch of points for your elevations. Now, all of these down below are 111, but everything up top starts to decrease. So you want to come all the way up. Okay, this is the end of your data line. You want to double check just to make sure, and then boom, they're all back to 111. Once we figure that out, go back to 3D view. Takes a second to load. Okay, you're back in. You got your rover again. Look at that. This is our data point that was messed up. And now we can see it's right back to normal. So it's all kind of sloping down. Like I said, you have a lot of data points on this hill. So you're coming down, you turn, and you come and you just verify, all right, nothing, there isn't any deep canyons. There isn't any really big and steep hills that look funky. So now we have now vectorized, we have transferred our data lines, we have entered our data points, and we have created a 3D model. And boom, you've now created a 3D model of your existing grade in 10 minutes. I'd say it's pretty good. And you can do this with your design. You can use this to compare. And then once you have your 3D model, you go over and you click area, volume, and see this, it'll analyze all your whole job site, your perimeter that you put out. And when you have your design, it'll take you to this point. It'll give you your foot, your cubic yardage, and your cut fill report. Since we don't have any existing design lines in, it doesn't give you your cut or your fill because it's just looking at the existing grade. But our main focus was to show how to vectorize and elevate the data points to create the 3D model. And it's telling you, all right, this job site is a total of 8.35 million square feet. And since it's only doing the existing, you have 8.35 million square feet that is on our target grade. And you can use this to print out reports, show in presentations, keep track while you're working on a project. And it all comes in handy. So yeah, that is how to vectorize a PDF and create a 3D model of your grade in Agtek. Thank you very much for watching and joining.